Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're talking about update 9.2 which just dropped in World of Tanks Blitz today. Comes with lots of new features as well as some balance changes. So we're going to go over everything here and my opinion on it and everything that's going on in this update real quick. So going in here into the update here we have the very first thing here we have new shot sounds and shell hit markers. So basically this is going to be just some aesthetic changes and graphical improvements, but the shell sounds basically when you shoot your gun, it's got updated sounds. They sound better. I'm a fan of them. I think they're better. And yeah, we also get shell markers here, which I actually really like. I love when a game has shell markers. So I am very glad that they did add these to the game. Yes, very happy about that. And definitely something I am glad they got. Here's a pretty useful thing. Restoring sold vehicles is you can now easily get back to your premium collector tanks by, oh that was my elbow, by just going into your store basically here in vehicles sold within the last 3 months. You'll be able to restore them for their price, and yeah, it's going to be pretty nice because you won't have to go to the website and do all the, it's just going to be much easier and cleaner here just having it in the game. So here, this is just a little bit of improvement. They improved the basically stability of the game on lower resolution for older devices and stuff. All right, here we have some legendary camos for the AMX31ER, the WZ120 GFT, and the K91. So here's this one. Not a big fan of this one right here. This one I think is okay, and this one right here, the burn is pretty good. I think the burn is a pretty good camo. But yeah, this is really the only one on here I like. These other two, well, this one's bad, but I think this one's okay as well. But yeah, that's just some legendary camos. So now moving on to some interesting things here, we have the balance changes. Now the first one is to the E50M, where the tank has gotten PBR quality on it. It has gotten a whole armor buff from 156 to 168, and it has getting a turret armor buff from 262 to 277. Now this buff right here, the turret armor one, is not actually a buff. This is because of the updated PBR qualities actually lowered the armor on the turret, so they just compensated it here with a buff. So it's actually the same, but they did buff the whole armor here on the tank, which I am very glad they did buff that whole armor. There's still a pretty big weak spot there though, so it's not really going to be all that different honestly, but it's still helpful to help out the E50M some. Type 71 did receive a nerf. The top speed was decreased from 40 to 37 kilometers an hour, and the engine power was reduced by 700 horsepower. Honestly, not a huge, massive change to the tank, but definitely a little bit of a nerf on that mobility aspect of the tank. TVP T5051 has a magazine reload was increased by 1 second, which is a nerf here to the tank, which isn't massive or anything. It's a pretty decent, 1 second nerf, but I think it won't be too game-changing. Now, magazine reload time was reduced by 1 second on the BatChat 25T, which is amazing. We're going to be getting an even better reload now on the BatChat clip, so yeah, that's definitely pretty amazing for the BatChat. FE4005 has a nerf by 1 second for that magazine reload time, basically the same thing as the TVP. So yeah, that is unfortunate, a little bit of a nerf here to the FV. T57 heavy tank also getting the same thing, up to 21 seconds here, which also is a nerf to the 57 heavy. And yeah, not too much to say about that. Now we have the T25 Pilot number 1 here. Power to weight ratio was increased by 1 horsepower to ton. So, it's a small improvement, but definitely a little bit better. Average penetration of the APCR shell was increased by 7 millimeters, so a slight increase there on your APCR. Aiming time was reduced by, what is that, 20... That took me way too long. 0.2 seconds here, so a nice aim time buff here. And the armor on the mantlet of the turret sides in front was enhanced from 203 to 223, which is a decent 20 buff to that armor, which is pretty impressive and very nice. So that's definitely a very nice buff here to the T25 Pilot number 1. Has quite a few buffs here. T25-2 has the penetration of the AP shell increased by 18 millimeters, which is a decent size buff, and the dispersion of the turret traverse was decreased from 0.1 to 0.1, so a 0.02 change there to that. The LTTB here has another 1000 HP. Reload time is being nerfed or buffed, sorry, by 0.15 seconds, and the dispersion on the turret traverse was decreased from 0.1 to 0.08, so decent buff to the LTTB here. Definitely going to have to go play the LTTB because I always thought it's an amazing, very fun tank to play, and it's now even better. D23E3 engine power was increased from 560 to 600 horsepower, so 40 horsepower buff, nothing massive, but a little bit better mobility. Mitsu 108 has a AP buff from 95 to 105, which is very good because this thing has very poor penetration. Reload time was reduced from 13 to 12 seconds. I do agree with that. Is a good buff, and dispersion was decreased from from 0.48 to 0.46. So I think these were some needed buffs here to the Mitsu 108. I thought it was lacking on that DPM and that penetration aspects of the tank. Now the Chai 2 SPG reload time was increased from 0.76 to 7.85 on the Top Gun, so a little bit of a nerf here to the Chai 2, nothing massive though. Still think it's a very good tank. T49 gun depression angles upon turret traverse backwards were changed. Goodness, that is so specific. So it's from negative 9.5 to negative 7 degrees for the 90mm gun, which honestly don't care about at all. From negative 10 degrees to negative 6 degrees for the 152mm on this tank. So the gun depression has been nerfed on the T49 while the gun is backwards, I guess is what this is. No, wait, no. Upon turret traverse, it's worse. That is so odd. Okay. Anyway, I don't think that's anything you too big gotta worry about. But yeah, okay. Now, tier 1, don't care. Improvements and fixed bugs. Here we have a few just fixed and improved bugs, which I'm not really going to go over too much just because I don't really care all that much. Yeah, anyway, those have been improved. So yeah, that is pretty much everything we have in the new update. We got these are the main features here. We got some legendary camos and some balance changes. Now, honestly, this isn't that big of an update. 9.2 is not that big of an update. There isn't a ton of like balance changes, you know, reworking of tier 10. There's nothing massive they're doing to the game. I mean, you know, these two are nice features, but honestly, being the headline of the update isn't anything massive to me because, you know, I mean, I really enjoyed that they added hit markers to the game, but it's nothing, you know, game changing. It's not like even a new map or anything. There's no new line, anything like that. So hopefully the next update does bring something more interesting, like a new line or a you know, new map to the game or something. Definitely enjoyed the update. Not anything about it really I have too much to complain. But yeah, just not the most interesting update in my opinion. Alright, so let me know what your thoughts on this update were down in the comments below. And yeah, I will see you guys all in the next one. And oh yes, I will have a video about some of the new tanks that are going to come to the game here soon as well. I'll try to get as many of those out as I can because there are going to be some new tanks coming out this update as well. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.